safety car is pulling in this time, so we've got 45 minutes of racing ahead of us. It is the Neil Savage car that is on pole position then. And it is Andy Marston in the BMW alongside. Then it's Christopher Mills and Justin Middleton on the second row of the grid. Middleton in that white Honda Civic. Then you've got the Nick Vaughan Audi. So they come up to the line. The lights should go out and the race should get underway. And yes, obviously the lights do go out. The cars fan out across the width of this Silverstone International Circuit on the Hamilton Straight. Then it's Marston that goes into the lead. Neil Savage dropping back down to around about 4th position from pole position. You can see some spots of rain on the camera lens there up at Abbey. There's the 5.5 car. On the spinner is the Lotus from pole position, and that is not what you want to do. Cars have gone scattering either side of it. Darren Ball is one of them in the 1 Series BMW, but I think everyone else has just about got through.
And Natalie Lloyd, we spoke to earlier on, was past the pole-sitting car as it recovered. Just amazing.
So that's something, but it's Andy Marston with a big lead as a result of that. He's ahead of Christopher Mills in 2nd place. It looks like it is the 18 Honda Civic of Justin Middleton in 3rd position, and then the BMW in 4th. That's the David Griffin car. So he's made up a spot or two from the start, and he's got ahead of that Civic now.
Looks like the classic cold tyres scenario, doesn't it, really? On that long left at Farm.
Yeah, and he'd not made a good start, Neil Savage, and you can see him there about 2/3 of the way down the field, probably, just alongside one of the BMWs trying to come back maybe not 2/3, maybe halfway down the field. They can see the Mini Clipper, that's Keith Izzat, a rather unusual car, but here are the leading contenders. They're fanning out 3 wide further down the order. I think that's Tony Rogers in the Seat making a move in car 48, going ahead of Nick Vaughan possibly, and up into 5th position. Turning their way through Abbey, long line of cars. That's the 32 car, so that's a surviving Lotus. That's Leon Bidgeway. I think he's in 7th position, just tucked in behind Nick Vaughan's Audi. And then behind him is Matthew Weymouth, who's been a Roadsports race winner in the past. Certainly remember him winning at Brands Hatch, I think it was. Along the Hanger Straight for the 2nd time then. Some gaps starting to emerge, but not between Nick Vaughan and Leon Bidgeway, between the Audi and the Lotus, which tries to go around the outside at Stowe Corner, and he's done it, I think. Yeah, Leon Bidgeway goes through, just went a bit wide on the exit though, so possibly the Audi might prevail. And
Neil Savage 20th at the end of the 1st lap, 20th in car number 90.
So we'll keep an eye on that one, as to whether he's able to come back through the field. There's that 32 car of Bidgeway there in 7th place. And now that's going to be a change here for 4th position. That's Tony Rogers up the inside of the 18 car of Justin Middleton. So the Seat goes through to 4th place. How did that car qualify? It was a little bit out of position possibly. It was, yes, 9th on the grid. Perhaps further down than would have expected to have found it. And so that's coming through now, up into 4th position then. So they've just got the 3 BMWs ahead of them now. Andy Marston, the leader, Christopher Mills and David Griffin in 1st, 2nd and 3rd positions. There's the Dan Trent car, well, Sam McKee's car being driven at the moment by Dan Trent. That's a bit further down the order, doing battle with the number 35 machine. I'm just looking to see where that is in the order. That looks like it is about sort of 34th, 35th kind of territory. Fantastic sight these cars make as they go down the Hanger Straight. Headlamps on some of them. That's just to let drivers know they're there, or because of the gloom that's perhaps now enveloping Silverstone.
The cars now stretch all the way down the Hanger Straight, the longest, fastest part of this circuit.
Wipers still on the 35 car, which is the one that we were just mentioning there. That is the Crago car. It is Daniel Crago that's driving it today.
The one with Charles Ivey Porsche on the side of it. Yes. Charles Ivey, whose team ran Porsches at Le Mans back in the day.
Treble 5 is James Altford, and this also a battle outside the top 20. So James Altford's in 31st position in that Golf, just for reference. And Jonathan Packer, who's also been successful in 750 motor club racing in the past. He's also perhaps further down the order than we might expect to find him. 707 there as well is the Jonathan Barrett BMW 3 Series, BMW 330. He's in 30th position. A little bit of a dent in the passenger door on that car. Whether that's arisen during the course of this race, not quite sure.
Savage now 17th in the Lotus.
Yeah, he's lapping in the 118s, but the leads are lapping 4 or 5 seconds faster than him.
Yeah.
So I suspect he will be struggling to get back onto terms with them. I think that was Sammy Bowler I just caught sight of in the 666 Mini Cooper, looking like she was about to make a move on somebody.
Natalie McGloin in 51. She's up into 19th place in the Porsche.
Matt Creed's Clio. We've already seen that out today in the hot hatches. So he's got a busy day ahead of him. He's really having a busy day. He's there in 29th position at the moment, just keeping ahead of that BMW, and just behind the, I think that's the Arguelles Clio number 7, just up ahead. And also involved is Darren Ball there. Now Darren Ball, I think, has managed to get himself out of position in that number 25 car. He would have qualified a bit further up the order, I think, trying to get back onto sort of terms of where we'd expect to see him.
Not much space to work in those thick battles, is there? So Porsche in there behind the Hondas and Clios.
In front it is still 37 Andy Marston, I should say, leading by about 3.5 seconds from Christopher Mills. Another 8/10 back. Oh, and one of the Seats pulling off there in the background, just coming off the links. That looks like it's broken. Is that the Andy Chapman car?
Parked really well, actually, right beside that refuge to go back between the wall.
Yeah, he's read the briefing notes and knows what to do if you have a problem, to make sure you're in a position where you can be reached by the marshals. And there's one car going down the pit lane there as well. I didn't see who that one was. That's too early to be a mandatory stop, because you can only make your stop after the first 15 minutes of a lap. We've only had 7 minutes so far, so the official time was actually showing 9 minutes. So I think because we have those 2 green flag laps, I think actually the clock on your screen is a little bit out. I think we've actually had 9.5 minutes of this race. And it's Andy Marston who's leading the race, and he's just in the best lap as well, 1:13.32. So he's well out in front. We're enjoying this battle though, involving a couple of the Golfs now getting together, and that is the 110 car as well. That's the Stuart Mead car that was 23rd at the start of the lap and has just been passed by the treble 5 car of James Altford, who's making his way steadily up the order.
Nicely turned out, those VW Golfs. Bidgeway meanwhile up into 4th in 32. Rogers has dropped back into 6th, so Vaughan is up to 5th in the Audi A3, but Bidgeway's now been bumped back a couple of spots, so Vaughan up to 4th in the 16 car.
Yes, that's news from his point of view. It's now 10 minutes into this, so about 4.5 minutes away from the pit lane opening. So the clock on the Alpha live stream is not the official clock, and the official clock is showing 10.5 minutes into the race. And there is the recovering Neil Savage. Now, where has he got himself up to now? 13th. And that's Andy Bailey's Honda Civic that's ahead from one of the Class B cars. The Class B is being led at the moment by Liam Crilly, who has not been a stranger to the Class B podium this season. He's had 2 Class B victories, in fact, and indeed a second overall he had at Brands Hatch in June. Liam Crilly in the number 12 car, which is the BMW Z4 Coupe. But for the moment we're watching Neil Savage going through, and he's got just behind him now the number 4 car of Chris Freeman. They're making their way down to the Vale and turning their way through that left hand. They've got Phil Dryborough just behind them in the number 6 car. Phil, who also has had some success this season, an overall 4th position, but a class 2nd and a couple of class 3rds during the course of the year. His is a Class B Porsche. is the 12th car. So that was our Class B leader, Liam Crilly, and he's just ahead on the road of the 15 car of Colin Gillespie, which is the Porsche Cayman. There it is, and he's got Savage just behind him now.
Yeah, that's right. Savage moving back up the order. He's got way down in the pack. Forced his way through to 12th place in that car number 90. And here he is about to try to make some more. He's got Crilly's a couple of cars ahead of him. Going around the outside of the Porsche Cayman, down into Vale. All looking nice and balanced on the brakes. Massive diffuser hanging out of the back of it.
It certainly is, isn't it? One car in the... Oh, and that's the Class C front runner.
Yeah, Rory Baptiste, isn't it?
It's too early to be a mandatory start. We've only had 13 minutes of the race so far. Rory is due to hand that car over for the second half of the race to Tim Hartland, who used to race in Golf GTI Mark II, as I recall.
Yeah, Savage into the top 10 after 8 laps.
Yeah, so that spin at the second curve, setting him back. He was down to 20th position, but he's made half of the places back that he lost effectively on the first couple of corners. That's the 81 car we can see of Eduardo Correa, and that's the car we're sharing with Lewis Rose, just behind Colin Gillespie. This is the battle for 11th place and 12th place overall. It's also the battle for second place within Class B, but we're watching now Neil Savage make up another position here, so he's getting ahead of the Class B leader. Yeah,
going past Crilly.
Yeah, so the number 12 car of Crilly, the driver from Royston, yields a position, but it's not for position within his class, so I don't think he'll be too concerned by that.
No, his worries about Gillespie and Correa and Bailey and Freeman behind. Leon Bidgeway in with a Welsh flag on the roof of his Lotus.
Yes, and again, that's too early to be a mandatory stop. Only 14 minutes gone. The pit lane window board will be shown from the start gantry 15 minutes into the race, and the pit closed sign will be shown 15 minutes after that. So there's Eduardo Correa, still trying to find a way past Colin Gillespie there. And this fight for second place within Class B and 11th and 12th overall. Wipers on again for Correa in the Civic. There's another Civic just behind. That's number 95, Andy Bay. That's another of the Class B cars. In fact, all of the cars from 10th down to 20th on our timing screen. In fact, if I look a bit further back than that, down to 24th, are Class B cars, which I think are numerically dominant in this particular field. But at the moment, Correa can't find a way past the Porsche. 50 minutes have gone now, by the way, on the official timing screen, so I suspect we will now be into pit stop territory. That's in McGloin going through there in her Porsche in 20th position still, so she's sort of halfway through that Class B battle. Definitely looks as if it's getting wetter out there, Marcus.
Yeah, there's more wiper action, isn't there now? More consistent. There's number 6 Porsche coming flying through, which is
it's Phil
Driver, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Boxster. It's about a third of the way through this race. Still Correa trying to find a way through, but now he's having to defend as well, because that driver car has got ahead of Andy Bailey now, and is about to make up another position as well. That driver car was a reserve, so I think it may have started right at the back, actually.
Oh, we've got a problem. One of the Porsches.
Yeah.
It's 964, isn't it? That appears to have spun.
It looks like it.
Blue 964. Somewhere up between Village and the Link.
So there's Bailey. We've been passed by the charging Phil Driver in that Porsche Boxster. Down towards the Vale they go, and it's another place made up by Driver, so he gets now ahead of Correa. And that splits up the battle between Correa and Colin Gillespie in the 15 car.
quite a battle. The two Porsches have just about managed to get their way to the front of that queue of Hondas. 6 there, Driver running in 11th place. Car ahead of him is 15, which is Gillespie. And we've got Correa and Bailey and Freeman running in behind in the Hondas.
Someone going a bit wide there in the BMW 1 Series. Towards the back of it, we've got yellow flags now waved on the way into Stowe corner. It looks like someone's gone off there. Can't see the offending vehicle. In fact, we've got a safety car now being scrambled as well, so it might not be anyone off at Stowe, but safety car flags are now being waved. That's Nick Vaughan coming through in 4th position, and not quite seeing whether the safety car's picked them up yet, if they've picked up Andy Marston in the lead of the race. But that's there is the safety car, and it's the safety car's picked up 4th position this time. So we had 3 races, and safety car's picked up 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I'm thinking, no, 2nd, 4th, and 4th. No, 3rd, 4th, and 4th even in consecutive races so far. But not picking up the leaders, unfortunately. So we'll see how this gets sorted. Now, is that because of that Porsche that was facing the wrong way?
Of course, they're now inside the pit window.
Yeah, I expect there'll be a lot of pit stops being made now. Natalie McGloin has been in, Matthew Weymouth's in, Colin Gillespie's in, Darren Bull's in. They're essentially all going to come in, I think, to make their pit stops. It's going to get very busy in there. Some of the circuits this season we've had to have rules whereby drivers have to park at a 45-degree angle when they come into the pits because of the tight nature of the pit lane. This Silverstone International wing pit lane is not particularly tight, so they're able to park sort of parallel to the road, as it were, which makes life a little bit easier. They need to be pushed back out, but essentially I think everyone's going to come in. In fact, I'd be very surprised if many people did stay out with the safety car coming into the pits at this sort of sweet spot for a driver change. I'm just jogging across to the live end of the pit lane to try and get in. There's the race leader, Andy Marston, so certainly he's in, and it looks like just behind him Christopher Mills is in as well. And it's a very long pit lane, but everyone's trying to use the same piece of it, it seems, Marcus.
Yes, that's right. The old confiture de traffic at the beginning of the pit lane. Oh, and it's shambolic.
Yes, there's plenty of room for everybody, but not everyone's choosing to use it, unfortunately. So, yes, interesting. Not quite having a sort of Kimi Raikkonen situation as
here
we had
comes the stampede coming out.
That was the stampede behind the safety car. There are a few cars you can see in the background staying out on track, though. So whether they will give it another lap. But yeah, it's very congested, isn't it? So the order, as things stand on our timer screen, after what have we had? 20 minutes of this race is 37 Andy Marston leading. From 65.
Nick Vaughan's not going to get his Audi out very easily, with the 6 diagonally across his nose.
No, and you've got some that have gone in
driver.
at 45 degrees there, even though you're not supposed to at this meeting.
It's 45 the wrong way, isn't it? That's the point.
Yes, exactly.
Nose in rather than nose out.
So that's 34 David Griffin 3rd, 16 Nick Vaughan 4th, 48 Tony Rogers 5th, 90 Neil Savage in 6th position, then Liam Crilly just in Middleton, Phil Drybrough, and Andy Bayliss rounding out the top 10. Liam Crilly leading Class B.
Andy Marston back out in the 37 car. That's a great looking bit of kit.
It certainly is, isn't it? That's the 129 car. That's one of the Class D cars. That's Matthew Adcock handing over to, I think it's his father, Philip, for the second part of the race. And there's Neil Savage, who just needs that BMW to manoeuvre out of the way before he can get back out into the race.
Yeah, he's following behind the Vaughan Audi.
Of course, some of these drivers will have had to stop for just the mandatory 60 seconds. Some will have had to stop for long for penalties, and some majors have taken more than 60 seconds to complete their stop.
Yeah, those who've made their penalties have hardly been disadvantaged unless they were hemmed in.
So we're hopefully going to go back out. So the car behind the safety car now is the McHugh Porsche, I think. But I suspect the cars that are out there now are going to make their pit stops. Although Natalie McGloin, we'd seen, had already been in. so she won't. But I suspect the 3 cars ahead of her, these 3, assuming they've not already been in, will do so on their next lap. What we don't have, unfortunately, is the information about which drivers have been in and which drivers haven't on our timing screens for this one. Safety cars coming back in though, so the race is going to get back underway. So those that are making their stops now, which is a few of them,
which is the 3 who were directly behind the safety car,
are not going to be in a great position. So we're going to come through to complete lap 13 in the case of Andy Martin, who's the race leader, is the 3rd car in this queue, which means that Natalie McGloin, I think, is effectively a lap down. Green flag waves. The other car that's just in behind him is one of the Hondas, the 137 car of Kevin Tolbert, that's the Integra. It's just been passed by the 37 car. There's Dan Trent. He gets out of the car and hands over to Sam McKee for the second half of the race, who are watching our lunchtime feature.
Yeah, it's Justin Middleton who leads now on 14 laps, and 3 and a bit seconds behind him is Andy Marston in the BMW.
But Middleton was one of those that was just diving into the pit lane after everyone else, so that advantage will be short-lived, I think. Because he'll be well delayed by having made that stop outside the window.
I think he's triggered the timing beam on the wrong side of the wall, hasn't he?
Yeah, because the timing, you actually get to the timing line faster coming into the pit lane than you do staying out at Silverstone on the international circuit.
It's as you do at Thruxton, really. Odd.
Yes. So that's the Andy Bailey car, number 95. Now he, at the moment, is in 17th position. Obviously, there's been quite a shake-up in the order as a result of that. The time is now 24 minutes into the race, and just give it another lap, and then we'll give you a rundown on the positions, because it will start to make a bit more sense now with Andy Martin coming through to complete another lap. That's the Nick Vaughan car, just ahead of the Fiesta, Audi and Fiesta, together on the circuit. The Fiesta is the 153 car of Ben Gundry. We've sometimes seen him out in the Armed Forces races as well. Interestingly, Colin Gillespie's managed to get into the lead of Class B here, and Liam Crilly has lost out quite substantially. So that's something to know. Andy Chapman, I think, he's going to drop down the order probably, showing in second in Class B at the moment, but pretty chaotic circuit out there. There you can see Crilly in the BMW Z4. He's in this pack here that's heading through the link, and he at the moment is in 15th position, and he is just behind the Mini, so that is for position.
Yeah, Marston's got about 3.7 seconds in 37 over 65, which is Gardner in second place. There's the unusual mini traveller, mini countryman.
That's Chris Freeman getting down the inside of the Audi TT. That's Nick Goff, so that's for 12th position.
That's Keith Issett's mini countryman, isn't it, that we've seen in there.
So 26 minutes have now gone. Let's just give you a quick rundown on the order. It's 37 Andy Marston leading, 65 that's now David Gardner in the BMW in second place. Matthew Weymouth in 29 is third, fourth is 48 Tony Rogers, fifth is 90 Neil Savage, so he's come out of the pit stops well. We had that spin on the first
Weymouth
turn.
Did really well though, didn't he, out of it, because he just moved up a long way.
He did.
He was running towards the back end of the top 10 before he came into the pit.
6th is 15 Colin Gillespie leading Class B, 7th is 31 Andy Chapman, 8th is 16 Nick Vaughan, 9th is 34 David Griffin, and 10th is treble 5 James Altford. Another driver to have benefited, I think, from all of that, assuming he's made his stop. Just looking a bit further down, Class C is being led by number 23 Matt Creed at the moment, from 316 Ivor Mayers and 707 Jonathan Barrett, and Class D not terribly well subscribed. That's being led by Phil Adcock, who's now driving that car ahead of the Kiefer Del Piero BMW. that's the way of things as we go into the last 20 minutes of this race here at Silverstone, the international circuit, this Tegiwa Roadsports Series race. And BMWs, Hondas, Mazdas, Renaults, VWs, great variety of cars that you can see heading down the Hamilton Straight. And wipers on about half of the cars at the moment, so there is some rain out there, but I don't think it's amounting to very much. The best lap of the race to Andy Martin is a 1:13.32, which is underneath the lap record.
Yeah, they've trailed off now though, haven't they? They're lapping about a second and a half outside that, by and large.
Yeah, they are.
That means it's not ultimately that wet, which is good.
Another one just peeling into the pit lane I can see in the background. That is the 25 car of Darren Ball. Now he's someone that seems to have lost out amongst the pit stops because he is, where is he running at the moment? 23rd in that BMW. I think that's the ex-Colin Gillespie car. You'd have expected to have seen him a bit further up the order. He's just behind the 1-2-3 car of Matt Creed, and ahead on the road of the number 90 car of Neil Savage, but that car is running in 5th position overall at the moment. Turning their way through the right-hander. There's the 90 car then. Savage just trying to put a lap on Darren Ball there. Down in the pit lane, and here's a battle going on. That's for between the 18 car, which has just been changed, but also 48 Tony Rogers. Trying to see what position that's for now. Well, it's not for position, in fact. Rogers is on the lead lap, and the 18 car is at least one lap down, so that's not for position, although they were right up there in the early stages.
Yeah, 18 Justin Middleton is down in 18th place, but he's might just have unlapped himself, hasn't he?
Yeah, it looks like it. The 18 car running in 18th position, just in Middleton. Let's go down to the pit lane and Josh Barrett.
Who's down here, Jamie? How was Justin?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Had a pretty good start. I think we were 6th in class, and then managed to work our way up to 3rd. And then round one of the corners at the back, took a hit from a BMW. I think he outbraked himself and just knocked me sideways. So started to recover from that, and then at the end of the pit straight, took another hit to the back. So the car's all right. A bit of damage, but yeah, not the best start.
You're out in the 944, which I guess one of the oldest cars on the grid.
Yeah, the oldest and probably the most battered as well. We call it the barn find. So yeah, it still runs, still goes. So yeah, we just keep bringing it every week.
And do you think you're out tomorrow as well in the Porsche Trophy?
Yeah, we're coming out in the Porsche Trophy. Sharing the drive with my dad as well at the minute, so it's quite good fun to get away with him for the weekend. So yeah, hopefully we'll have a better start tomorrow.
It's a nice family outing for the pair of you.
Yeah, nice family outing. Some of our friends come, they're racing a 968 as well, so yeah, it's all good fun.
Hope all goes well.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Back up to Ian.
Thank you very much, Josh. So Jamie McHugh there in the Porsche. We're watching some fearsome battling going on circuit. Lewis Rose in the number 81 Civic there, the sort of gunmetal grey and orange car in the midst of that. Also Sam McKee, I can see in his BMW, the car that he drives to the circuit. Liam Crilly's Z4 is in there as well. So we've got cars on multiple different laps here. The 43 car, which is the Kiefer Del Piero car, is well down the order. So spectacular sight marks, but cars on lots of different laps. I just sense the rain might be falling a little bit heavier again.
Yes, there's now a little bit more urgency about the windscreen wipers, that's for sure. And I saw that green BMW get gobbled up by an entire pack in the Vale to Club section.
Just watching how the Class B battlers settle down on our timing screen. It's 15 Colin Gillespie in 7th overall from 31 Andy Chapman and 555 James Altford, and it's Altford that we're watching now at the front of our screen. So he's in 9th position, and just behind him on up to 10th now has gone the 4 car of Chris Freeman. but it's Liam McCrilly, the car there, the BMW Z4 you could see, that was the erstwhile leader of this class until the pit stops. It all went wrong for him once the safety car came out, basically. He's now having to try and pick his way back through some of his the Class B drivers to try and get a second Class B victory of the season, but that's looking like it's a long way away now as we're into the last 13 minutes of the race on the official clock. Andy Marston, by the way, still leading by about 5 seconds in car 37 from David Gardner now, and then another 16 or 17 seconds back in third place is Matthew Weymouth. But that's... oh, and someone's had a big drama there. I think that's the 95 car of Andy Bailey. Suddenly had smoke, I think, starting to pour from the back of it on the way down towards Abbey. We just cut away from that before we saw too much of it. I think he's still there, so it may have just been a lock-up, actually. All a little bit odd.
There was a lot of smoke, wasn't there? That's for sure, and we'll soon see if there's any oil on the track. That's for certain.
About 12 minutes of the race left to go. There is Altford then. He's running in 9th position. Up the road, about 4 seconds ahead of him is Andy Chapman, number 31, in the Seat Leon. So it wasn't his car that pulled off earlier on. I correct myself. The car that we lost earlier on, therefore. Trying to identify that. That was the Mike Morace, number 30 car then, I guess. And there is Neil Savage. Now this is a battle for position. This is for 4th and 5th. Neil Savage, number 90 in the Lotus. The Lotus Elise S2. And then the Tony Rogers, number 48 car, the Seat Super Copa. Those two together now.
The leaders last time round set identical laps, 1:15.06 apiece, which left that lead therefore at 4.98 seconds for Marston over Gardner.
Yeah, so that is 37 leading, 65 in second. Matthew Weymouth a distance behind them in third place, but for 4th and 5th it's Neil Savage and Tony Rogers. And of course it was Savage getting ahead of Rogers on the previous lap, so doing a faster lap by about 0.8 of a second than Rogers. He's starting to get away now. I don't think he's going to catch Matthew Weymouth though. You can just see Weymouth going through the front of shot there. He's about 4.5 seconds clear of Savage with only 11 minutes left. So possibly it could be on. It could be on because Savage that time was in the 1:14s and he's capable of lapping a second faster than Weymouth. So we could have a change for third here actually before the end. And actually on that last lap, Weymouth and Savage both lapped faster than David Gardner in the second place BMW number 65 as well.
Ooh, that was chirruping away. Well, the Savage Lotus ran really wide out of the link onto the Hangar Straight. Car running in 4th place overall, number 90, ahead of Rogers now.
There's the 18 car going through. That's Justin Middleton. He's back up to 16th now. He's just in his personal best lap of the race as well, a 1:14.99. Looking down the timing screen, there's not too many drivers that are improving their times at the moment. Chris Freeman in the number 4 car is as well. But in these conditions, they're a little bit changeable as the race has gone on. It seems as if Middleton's going particularly well at the moment. And he's just behind Weymouth on circuit now. What's the gap onto the gap between Weymouth and Savage? It's come down by more than 2 seconds that time because Savage in the number 90 car, you can see on screen, has just done a 1:14.35. That's his personal best lap, and he's only 2 seconds behind Weymouth now.
And that's quicker by 1.4 seconds than the race leader.
The only problem there is that he's about 26 seconds behind the race leader and there's only 9 minutes left, so I'm not sure that it will do him all that much good, but he should certainly get up to third place, Neil Savage. Second even will be too far away, I think, because he's 19 seconds clear of these two. But there's Weymouth, the number 29 car, the blue BMW, still with its wipers going. Not too many of them have got their wipers going at the minute, which suggests that maybe they're not really needed. Lapping Pete Seeley's MR2 there, also one of the BMWs, but that gap's come down again because it was 2 seconds at the start of the lap.
Yeah, that's impressive work from Savage. He's probably ruining his first lap spin, but Difficult to see that car when it comes up on some of the taller saloons. He's now in the blind spot, isn't he, of the 29 BMW there.
So this for third position then, number 90, Neil Savage. Had a spin about this part of the circuit on lap 1. We're now on lap 26. He's right with Matthew Weymouth, and he's going to get through here up the inside at Village.
Yeah, did you see that? Weymouth just suddenly turned in and understeered.
Yes.
And Savage dived up the inside, had to lock the brakes there. He was taken by surprise.
He's also having to get past some of the other cars that are one or more laps down, and he's spun off as Savage. Whether he clipped the curb or whether he clipped a back marker, I don't know now. That's just behind the bridge support there from where we are. He's not hit anything, I don't think, which was the concern there. He's not got as far as the barriers, but having done all of that hard work to get up into third position, the very next corner, it spun all away again.
That was also a Flymo impression, wasn't it, as he went across the grass, coming back onto the track just ahead of Natalie McGloin on the road.
Yeah, I think he'll slot into sixth. He's just behind Nick Vaughan, who is showing in sixth position on the screen at the moment. But there's all the gravel coming out of that Savage car now. So he's obviously been off into the gravel trap, and it's kicking out the gravel. You can see there's also some grass from its fly mowing exploits on that front splitter there, just sort of bundled up.
He's behind Vaughan's Audi, isn't he? Which has moved up therefore into fifth place. So yes, Savage will be sixth.
Yeah, and that cost him about 17 seconds on that lap, that incident. So having got up to third, back to sixth, and having lost 17 seconds. But Neil's certainly had quite an exciting race as it's unfolded. So about 6 minutes of the race left to go. It's 37, Andy Marston leading. He's still ahead by about 5 seconds from David Gardner in second place, and Matthew Weymouth, of course, in third. Just wondering if he can be caught, though, by Tony Rogers, because Tony Rogers has been lapping a little bit quicker than Weymouth and is about 3.5 seconds behind. So we could yet have another change for third place. But we're watching the driver in sixth. That's Neil Savage, number 90. And just looking at the classes, Class B still being led by Colin Gillespie. He's about 2 seconds clear of Chris Freeman, and it's Matt Creed leading Class C, and he's got a healthy advantage over Jonathan Packer.
Yeah, that B is very close. Gillespie with Freeman, and Freeman with James Altford right behind him.
Yeah, then Liam Crilly as well, who's lapping faster than Altford. In fact, he's lapping faster than all of those Class B drivers ahead of him. But he's running out of laps to try and get back ahead of them, of course. Liam Crilly was leading Class B in the early stage of the race. Number 77 being lapped there, that's Finn Jones in this second part of the race in that Golf, having taken over from sometime Castlecombe saloon car racer Rob Ellick. 29 Matthew Weymouth just having lapped him. There's the car in the background pursuing him, the white Seat Super Copa of Tony Rogers. 3.52 seconds was the gap between them at the start of the lap. It sort of stayed pretty much static from where it was on the previous circuit, and I've only got 4.5 minutes on the official clock left to go. There's Finn Jones, that car running in 24th position, the VW Golf. There is Sam McKee, and also the McHugh Porsche, which the wipers look to have broken on that, so if it did suddenly start to rain a bit more heavily, Tom McHugh, who's now in that car, I don't think would be able to see, Jamie's father. So they are well down the order. 6.5 minutes left. Sorry, 4 minutes left, he said, looking at the right clock.
Yeah, Vaughan was essaying to take Savage at the end of the previous lap, and he's made it through on lap 28.
Okay, so that's an exciting little subplot there for 5th and 6th. Meanwhile, about, what are we? 8 seconds up the road, the gap has gone out between Weymouth and Rogers. So Rogers has got a couple of slower cars ahead of him at the moment. There he is in the number 48 car. I don't think he's going to be able to make it through in the closing stages of this race. Marston still ahead by 5.5 seconds. It's been sort of 4 or 5 seconds for quite some time over David Gardner. There's the Sam McKee car, number 36, taking it over from Dan Trent for this second part of the race, and of course it's going to be lapped by the Seat. Where's Sam McKee running at the moment? Just trying to scroll down my screen to check on his progress. And for some reason he's not appearing on there, or either that or I'm missing him. Oh, there we go, he's in 33rd position, Sam McKee and Dan Trent. There is Weymouth.
Yeah, Gillespie's under massive pressure in number 15 for the Class B honours, because Chris Freeman was within a fifth of a second of him in 4, and Crully's only a second behind him.
Yeah, so the Class B battle, if we can try and pick that one up, that's the 15 Porsche and the 4 Honda Civic and the 12 BMW, because those three are very close together now, so we'll just try and see if we can pick that up on screen in a moment. For the minute, here's Matthew Weymouth as we are going into the last couple of minutes of the race. Weymouth and Rogers 3rd and 4th, but about half a minute, half a lap behind these two. It's going to be Colin Gillespie hanging on to Class B. Backmarker being lapped is the Kiefer Del Piero BMW 116. And these cars making their way down to Village Corner at the moment. Don't think Weymouth is going to be caught in the closing stages of this race. I think about to go over the line is our Class B leader as well to complete another lap, which is 15 car of Colin Gillespie. There's Savage just in the background there, hanging it out wide. Still in battle with Nick Vaughan. Well, there's actually a couple of seconds ahead of Vaughan now. For Class B, Colin Gillespie, Chris Freeman, Liam Crully still in that order, but only 0.7 of a second separating those three cars. Oh, and look how heavy the rain is now at the Vale. All of a sudden, that has come from nowhere. It's almost like hail, I think, now falling at that end of the circuit. I don't think it's over all of the lap, though, Marcus.
No, there's absolutely a thrilling finale to this race, and we've got, 3 minutes to go.
Last lap board's out.
Last lap board's gone out. Absolutely well spotted.
So very shortly we'll see Andy Marston coming through to take the checkered flag, I think, which is probably a relief to everyone in these conditions, but it is only at part of the circuit, which is what you were saying earlier.
Dry at the other end.
And that's half a mile away. No,
yeah,
more than that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Rogers is trying hard to reel Weymouth in. That's front-wheel drive Seat against rear-wheel drive BMW, isn't it? So
it certainly is. So that's for third and fourth positions up the road and almost reaching the checkered flag. Now, in fact, the checkered flag, you can see, has gone out now to the race winner. So it's Andy Marston that's taken the checkered flag to win the race here. And second is going to be over the line. There he is, the number 65 car of David Gardner. And this is the battle for the lead in Class B. Going into Abbey Corner, you can see that Colin Gillespie there in the Porsches lost out there. And we've got side by side Liam Crilley and Chris Freeman going into it, but possibly were they just ahead of the checkered flag? No, they were behind the checkered flag, I think. So I think they'd already taken it. And very heavy rain now at that end of the circuit. There's Matthew Weymouth, only just going to take third place in the end from Tony Rogers, as the conditions changed drastically towards the end, and it does now look and sound absolutely horrible out there. Feel for our camera crew all of a sudden out there in these conditions, Marcus.
Not much fun for the marshals either.
Absolutely not. The drivers, at least in this race, all have roofs over their heads. Some of them you can see getting the orange flags out to say thank you to the marshals. I'm not sure the marshals will be there to notice it at the moment, because I'm sure they'll be sheltering as well. So Andy Marston it was that took the win, car 37, from David Gardner in second place and Matthew Weymouth third. But wow, what a dramatic change in conditions right towards the end.
Savage managed to get the better of Vaughan by 4 seconds towards the end, but Savage, twice a spinner in that race, could have achieved more, I think.
Absolutely. His lap times were faster than everyone else apart from the winner Andy Marston, who did a 1:13.32, which is a new lap record. Savage did a 1:13.95, and it was 1:14 bar those, really. Let's have a look at the results then. Andy Marston taking the win. In 32 laps he completed in 45 minutes in car 37, beating Christopher Mills and David Gardner by 10 seconds in the end. Third, number 29, Matthew Weymouth, who won by or beat Tony Rogers by 7/10 of a second in the battle for the final podium position, so 29 ahead of 48. Neil Savage 5th in number 90. 6th is number 16, Nick Vaughan. Then we've got the Class B battle, which was won in the end by Chris Freeman, so he got the better of Colin Gillespie on the final lap. Finished a lap down, did number 4, Chris Freeman. 15, Colin Gillespie, absolutely the same time as him across the line, and Liam Crilly only a 10th behind him, so a very exciting finish in Class B. And Andy Bailey it was, number 95, that rounds out the top 10. Lewis Rose and Eduardo Correa were 11th in number 81, then Andy Chapman and Nick Goff 13th in the Audi TT. Shita Middleton 14th in the end in the Honda Civic, ahead of James Altford, and Keith is Shita Middleton, I should say, winning his class as well.
Altford didn't like the wet, did he? Because he dropped right back out of that lead battle. He did. So he maybe had a spin. Correct myself, Shita Middleton didn't win his class. Yes, I think the 1:40.07 last lap probably tells you that's the story.
Give us the clue. Altford 15th, and Isaac Ball, McGloin, Maudsley and Mead 19th, and then Matt Creed 20th overall, winning Class C in car 23. Sammy Bowler 21st, then Jonathan Packer and Jonathan Barrett on the podium in Class C. Just watch the rest of these scroll through. We should pick up our Class D winner on the next screen, and yes, that was the Hayes and Dodd BMW 318 Ti car number 26. No, sorry, that's a Class A car. Beg your pardon. Class D winner was the Matthew Adcock car. Beg your pardon, number 129 in 36th position overall. So a big old field of cars, a dramatic change of conditions towards the end, and we'll hopefully be able to hear from winning drivers if they want to brave the elements, and we'll try to bring that to you in just a moment. Still 5 more races to come here at Silverstone this afternoon. Next up we'll have the RLM Racing Bike Sports Championship.
Yeah, the second half of the double header for each of those rounds is going to be markedly different to the first.
Let's head down to the pit lane now, and Josh Barrett's there.
Thanks, Ian. We're our race winner, Andy Marston. Well done, Andy. I think you got the lead at the beginning and held on.
Yeah, feels like it's been a long time coming. I can't remember the last time we had a win. But car felt mega for the first time. The cars felt mega, so I'm proper pleased.
Obviously, you've won these races before, but this is a new car.
It's the same car, but we've got different suspension, different body, different engine, different gearbox. It's been a bit of a pig, and today things just seem to have fallen into place, so over the moon.
Bits of rain during the race, did any of them affect you?
No, I just said to Brett, it's like it started to rain and I lost I had a bit of understeer at the beginning. Rain came down, understeer went, so I don't know why.
Obviously a huge grid out there. How was the traffic?
Yeah, traffic was quite a challenge in places, but to be fair, you know, the Class C and the Class D guys, they are always looking in the mirrors and they're getting out your way. I can't knock them. I had experience myself in the Class C a couple of weeks ago and it scared the life out of me.
Do you enjoy being back in Roadsports?
Ah, loving it.
Well done on the win.
Thank
you out tomorrow?
Yeah, out tomorrow again.
Good luck with that.
Thank you, cheers.
So that's our Class A winner, which was Andy Marston. Class B winner was Chris Freeman. Chris, last lap pass for the win of the class there.
Yeah, crazy, absolutely mad. Really close. You could either go from second to third or first to third. It was just absolutely bonkers. But yeah, great fun.
And
the rain helped, I think.
Class B is really competitive, isn't it, this year?
Yeah. I think there was like 5 at one stage, all in a row. Then the safety car come out, which was a shame. But no, absolutely brilliant. Car was really good. Yeah, real good.
And you're all in quite different cars generally, which I guess some cars are quicker on different parts of the track.
Yeah, well, the Porsche on the last corner, on the last lap, because it rained around that part that we were in the paddock, he couldn't get his power down the rear wheel drive, so we were like all side by side and just went over the line. And I didn't even see Gillespie on the side of me. He was just inches behind for first, wasn't it? It was brilliant, really good.
You're obviously driving by yourself this year. How have you found that change?
Yeah, we're used to endurance racing and karting anyway, so it's not been such a problem. It's probably better because when you do come in for your pit stop, especially tomorrow in Club Enduro, you're on the pace straight away. You've not got a second driver that's trying to get into it, so it's not been a problem. I've enjoyed it.
Was last year your first year in car racing?
We did a little bit in 2017, then we had a couple of years out, then we came back again last year, and this is the first proper year we're trying to have a go for it. But I've had a few reliability issues, just silly little things which were a shame. But no, the car was absolutely spot on today.
And you're enjoying it?
Yeah, great.
Great to hear. Well done on your win.
Lovely, thank
So that's our Class B winner, which was Christopher Freeman. Then our Class C winner was Matt Creed. Well done, Matt. Class win, and I think by quite a good margin.
Yeah, quite good. I think it was a good 15, 16 seconds. When that rain started, I thought, oh God. But yeah, it was a real good race. Really enjoyed it. Really good.
And it was a busy old day for you with Hot Hatch as well.
Yeah, hot hatch. I think I've got a hot hatch in about half an hour to an hour, I think. Hot hatch earlier today, yeah. So yeah, really busy day.
Well done and good luck for later on.
Thank you very much.
Finally we got the Adcocks who won Class D. Well done, guys. How was the stint for you?
Yeah, it was really good fun. I was just going around, just plugging in lap times, and then the safety car came out, and it was pretty mad in here because everybody looked down and saw, oh, pit window's open, and just dived in. Yeah, and then Dad went out, and yeah, it was a really, really fun race. Really enjoyed myself.
And how was Dad's stint?
I think I've discovered a new type of pressure when your son brings the car in first, and your job is to do the same. But no, it's fantastic. When the wet came down, the other 116 very, very close. But Andy and all the team here today have been fantastic. So yeah, absolutely great. Thank you.
And how much fun is it being racing with your son and then getting a win?
It's the highest pressure, but probably the highest pleasure I think I've experienced for a long time. But thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations to both of you. So that's all our class winners from the Tegiwa Roadsports Series.